Welcome back to our online dance classes. Thank you for joining me today. Today's class is a little bit different. I'm going to be leading you through a dancing mindfulness workshop. Now, dancing mindfulness is all about moving mindfully, seeing if we can meditate while we're moving, and always coming back to awareness, so noticing how our bodies are feeling, what our bodies are doing as they're moving, and noticing what we can see, what we can taste, what we can smell, what we can feel all around us. So being really, really present in the space that we're in as we're moving. Good. It's also good to mention that I'm going to be asking you how you're feeling today, what kind of emotions you might be feeling. So if at any point, if you feel maybe a bit overwhelmed or you feel a bit too emotional, there's always the option to opt out. So feel free to pause the video and take a bit of time out, or maybe you might like to colour and draw while we do the movement instead of moving with us. That's always an option. I have got some props with me today. You don't need any of these props to do this class, but if you do have any props in your house that you might like to use, then feel free to get them now. So I have a little candle, just an LED candle, it's not real. I have a fake flower, and I have a couple of ribbons in front of me, some different colour ones. So I have a rainbow one, a lovely purple one, and a black ribbon as well. So if you have ribbons or maybe a scarf that you might like to use, and maybe a fake flower or anything that looks similar to these, feel free to grab those now and you can use them for the class. But again, if you don't have those, that's fine, you can pretend that you're using them, and I'll give you some options. Please be careful of your space. So I'm using a yoga mat underneath me, so I am keeping my socks on, but if you're on a floor that might be slippy, make sure you take your socks off and you're in bare feet, or maybe you might like to use trainers if you're allowed to use them inside. And the only rule that we have really for dancing mindfulness is having no judgment, so allowing ourselves to be really kind to yourself today. And some of the things I might ask you to do, they might feel a bit silly, or you might feel like you've never done these things before, but without judging yourself, try and give it a go, and you may really enjoy it and you may feel a lot better by doing it. Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to start with crossing our legs. Good, sitting up nice and tall, maybe giving the shoulders a couple of rolls backwards, and then lifting up our candle in one hand and a flower in the other hand. If you don't have these props, just feel free to pretend to be holding them, and that will still work fine. Good, so we're going to start by smelling the flower in one hand and taking a big breath in, and then blowing out the candle. Good, smelling the flower, blowing out the candle. Good, smelling the flower for the last time. Big breath in, pull up really tall in the body, and then blowing out the candle. Lovely, placing those props down in front of you, and maybe turning to your side so you've got some more space. We're going to stretch the legs out in front of us, give them a little shake. And we're going to start with an exercise that we call a body scan. So we're noticing how every part of our body's feeling. So we're going to start with just the toes. I want you to squeeze or scrunch the toes in. Just the toes, squeezing them as hard as you can. We're going to hold them for a few seconds. And release. Lovely, moving up to the knees. To see if we can squeeze just the knees. You might like to breathe in as you squeeze them. And release, let everything go. Lovely, both our legs are squeezing both the legs together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release. Lovely, coming up to our tummy. So squeezing in our tummy. A big breath in, holding the breath. And release. Lovely, noticing how each part of the body feels as we're moving up the body. We're going to come up to our shoulders. So squeezing the shoulders up, scrunching them, tensing them. Hold it for 3, 2, 1, and release. Let them feel really heavy. Good, I'm going to come around this side so you can see me. Good, the arms, the hands and the fingers, squeezing and scrunching. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and release. Let those go. Good, and lastly our face. So keeping our hands down, we're just going to scrunch and squeeze our face. You might make a silly face. Hold it for 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good, let's try the whole body. So from the toes all the way to the face, we're going to scrunch everything up together. 3, 2, 1, big squeeze. Big breath in and let everything go. See if you can roll onto one side into a small little ball shape. Lovely. So staying there for me, I'm going to play some music, and as we hear the music, we're going to pretend to be like a little seed that's going to grow into a tree. So just follow my movement as I start to slowly come up into a tree pose. So we're going to start lying down. Again, taking your time to slowly come up to your tree pose. So all the way standing, pushing our hands into the floor. So you might like to bring one leg up and gently move like you're blowing in the wind. You're going to try to find some stillness wherever you are. Good, and slowly coming back down. Good, we're going to repeat one more time, so pushing back into the floor, noticing how the floor feels all around you. And taking your time to come up to standing. We're going to balance on the other leg this time as we find our tree pose. So you're growing up like a seed from the ground. Good, finding your balance. And gently blowing in the breeze. Remembering to breathe. And finding some stillness. Last big breath in, and as you breathe out, we're going to gently float back down onto our knees. Take your time. Lovely. Okay, reaching our hands forward, we're going to come into a tabletop position, and our first position is I call an angry cat. So you're going to stick your back up, and you might like to make a noise that would show an angry cat, like shh. Good, so really pushing the back up. And then we come into our cow position, so we're going to bend the back, look up to the ceiling. And again, you might like to make a cow sound here. And then an angry cat. Good, relax the neck. And into a cow. Lovely, one more time. Angry cow, I'll show you this way. So sticking the back up. And into the cow pose, looking up. Lovely, just having a little stretch backwards, keep pushing the hands into the floor. Lovely, and as we hear our next piece of music, we're going to see if we can start to make some circles in the body. So it doesn't just have to be the hands, you might like to try with the shoulders, with the knees, with the feet, with the toes, with the head, and you can see how big or how small you can make these circles in the body. So when you're ready, just start to explore some circular motions.
I was walking through icy streams that took my breath away, moving slowly through westward water, over glacial plains, and I walked off you, and I walked off and owned me. Oh me, oh my, I thought it was a dream, so it seemed. And now break deep, I'm inhaling you and I staring between. Give me the exhaling. You and I staring between.
Good, see how small those circles can be?
Cut my hair so I could rock back and forth without thinking of you. Learn to talk and say whatever I wanted to.
Good, how big can the
And
circles
I
be?
walked off you,
Filling up as much space as you
and
can.
I walked off and owned me. Oh my, I thought it was a dream, so it seemed. And now break deep, I'm inhaling you and I just staring between.
Keep breathing through the circles.
You and I just staring between.
Good, finding your last circular motion, and then slowly finding stillness again. Lovely, so notice how your body might feel now. If it feels a bit warmer, a bit more fluid. And now we're going to think about our hands being like paintbrushes. So you might like to choose one colour for your hands, or maybe lots of different colours. And our next piece of music, we're going to see how we can paint the space with our hands. So I'd like you to think about painting the floor, the ceiling, maybe the sofa, the chairs, the tables, just from the hands. So we're seeing if we can paint the space. Here we go.
You witness it all. Don't be discouraged, do and realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of the darkness inside you, make you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow.
might like to take one of your ribbons or a scarf if you have a scarf, and keeping that idea of painting the space with your paintbrushes, so with your ribbons or with your hand, we're going to keep painting the space.
Cause you know I'll be there, and I'll see your true colors shining through. I'll see your true colors. That's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let us show your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful like a rain.
Keep breathing into those paintbrushes, into your movements, playing with different speeds, maybe fast or slow. And notice the colours that you can see in the space.
If this world makes you crazy, you take it all you can bear. You call me up, because you know I'll be there, and I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors. That's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let it show your true colors. True colors. True colors.
For the last piece of this song, see if you can paint your own body now with your hands or with your ribbons or your scarf. How can you colour yourself in the space?
Let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow.
Lovely. And gently placing the ribbon and the scarf down if you have one. Good. And either coming to sit down or lie down, whatever feels more comfortable for you. We're going to finish this part of Dancing Mindfulness Class with me reading you a little poem all about emotions. So as I read this to you, I'd like you to really think about how you're feeling right now. Maybe you've been able to release some of your emotions as you've been moving today. Maybe notice how different your body feels now to when you started at the beginning. Maybe you've noticed different things in the room that you're in when you've been painting the space. So just have a listen. You might like to close your eyes for a few minutes, and then we'll check back in at the end and see how you're feeling. This poem is called Visiting Emotions. So where is the emotion visiting? Is it inside your belly or close to your heart? Is it heavy on your back or in your mind, way up far? How does the emotion look? Is it small or is it big? Short, medium or tall? Does it shine or is it cloudy and dark? What colour fills it, if it has any colours at all? How does the emotion feel? Is it heavy or is it light? Soft, hard or fuzzy? Hot or is it cold? Sharp, smooth or bumpy? Is it a faint feeling or does it take hold? How does the emotion sound? Is it yelling loud or whispering? Is it fierce, confident or shy? Does it speak to you clearly or does its voice quietly fade by? And what is the emotion saying? Is it reminding you of something you know deep within? Is it telling you something new? What message is it delivering to brave and kind you? So for our last piece of music, you might like to stay sitting or lying down, maybe thinking about an emotion that you feel right now. Maybe it's something you'd like to let go of today, or maybe it's just an emotion that you want to sit with. Maybe it's a positive emotion like feeling thankful or grateful for something. So the words in this last song ask us to close our eyes, let our body be really, really heavy, where we did at the beginning with squeezing and letting go. And just breathing and just being in the space and letting go of anything we want to let go of.
Let your eyes close. Let your body feel heavy. Let it go. Let it all go. Let your eyes close. Let your body feel heavy. Oh, let it go. Let it all go. And just breathe. Breathe. Just breathe. Just be. Just be. Just be. Let your eyes close. Let your body feel heavy. Let it go. Let it all go. Let your eyes close. Let your body feel heavy. Oh, let it go. Let it all go. Just breathe. Breathe. Just breathe. Just be. Just be. Just be.
Good. And wherever you are, keeping the eyes closed for a few seconds more, just begin to notice what you can smell, what you can taste, what you can hear, what you can feel with your hands or your feet or your back. And then gently opening the eyes and notice what you can see. Maybe taking the eyes for a scan around the room. What colours do you see? What objects do you see? And lastly, noticing how you feel. If you feel any different to how we started in the body. If you've thought of any emotions that come to, have you let any of those go today? Lovely. And take one big stretch, reaching up and over. Bring your hands together, give yourself a little clap. Lovely. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that class, and we'll see you soon for another one. Bye.